Greetings, folks, and welcome to today's show. Our guest today is Dr. Kathy Rose, who is the principal of Tullahoma High.
Stop just a minute. I'm not Kathy, a doctor.
No, okay.
No, sorry.
And,
you're going to have to edit that one.
Okay. Our subject today is to talk about what they are referring to as at-risk students. At-risk being they're not measuring up to the standards that are required to obtain an education, kind of falling through the cracks. So that's a matter of great concern, and so we want to talk about that. And there's some serious planning going on now on another approach to trying to address that problem in Tullahoma. So, Kathy, well, tell us. Give us a little better definition of who we're talking about. What does your group look like?
Well, we're actually looking at three groups to address. But if I could back up on that just a little bit, you know, Tullahoma High School, Tullahoma community has a rich history of producing students who go on to be successful. If you've got a diploma from Tullahoma High School, it should mean something. So we want to make sure when we put that diploma in a student's hand that it is a stamp of approval that, yes, this person is ready to go out and go to work and be a good employee. This person is ready to go on to a technical school and learn a skilled trade. This person is ready to go on to a 2 or 4 year college. So we want to make sure we're producing a quality product. What we have been seeing in recent years, and recent years I'll gauge this by since I've been in administration and have been made aware of this. In recent years, we have seen a number of students who, for one reason or another, come to us at the high school and are not really prepared to do the work that's required of them.
So they're coming out of middle school, but they're not ready.
Well, there are some can'ts in there, and there are some won'ts in there.
Yeah.
And so what has happened is we have had a number of students who have been placed in high school. I believe the first year that I was
as opposed to promoted.
Placed as opposed to promoted,
Yeah.
because in Tullahoma there's no other place for you to go when you finish middle school. Now there are people out there who say, well, they ought to just stay in middle school. If they can't do the work, they ought to just stay there. Well, as a friend pointed out to me a number of years ago, there is no student parking lot at the middle school. And if you've got a 12-year-old daughter, you'd want a 17-year-old boy sitting in a world history class with them. That's not a good plan.
Okay. What do you run? Well, let's take a short commercial break, folks, and then we'll get into this in a little more serious.
Attention Shoeistas, Bryn's Shoe Boutique in Tullahoma is closing forever. Every item in the store is reduced for immediate sale. Brenda is offering huge discounts on her entire inventory of fashion women's shoes, designer handbags, and jewelry, featuring famous brands like Yellow Box, Nine West, Bandolero, Impo, Coach, Michael Kors, Joseph Ripkoff, and others. The sale is underway now through March 3rd. Hurry in for huge savings at Bryn's Shoe Boutique, 115 Northwest Atlantic Street, Tullahoma. Open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday.
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday Miracles, Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Tired of paying for monthly telephone service, expensive long-distance bills, and all those crazy taxes? Are you sick of spending money on telephone equipment, maintenance contracts, and service calls, all for a phone system that shackles you to 100-year-old technology and your desk? Stop it. It's time to ship your phone system to the cloud. What can the cloud do for you? Bring together remote offices, workers, and employees in the field. Make sure that you'll never miss calls by delivering them to multiple devices. Modernize faxing by allowing multiple faxes to be sent and received at once and delivered to email. Get your voicemail messages instantly through email too. And take advantage of an endless supply of customizable features. Host My Calls can deliver the cloud. All of this technology with low upfront costs and not one penny in capital expense. It's time for a phone solution you'll truly love from Host My Calls. Call the number below.
Our guest today, folks, is Kathy Rose, who is principal of Tullahoma High, and we're talking about a group of students that have been labeled at risk, meaning they're not up to the necessary standards academically to go forward from middle school and succeed. So, Kathy, give us, what are you talking about in terms of numbers?
Well, to give you an example, in 2015, I believe our graduation rate was right at 93%. And the state tracks students through what they call a cohort. How many of the people who entered with you in the 9th grade receive a diploma at the end of 4 years? So that was a pretty good graduation rate. When that group of kids came into school, and I'll use my cheat sheet here, 9 8th graders were placed in the 9th grade. And those kids tracked through that cohort. We had a 93% graduation rate. The following year, we had 31 students placed. Our graduation rate dropped. From the class of 2017 cohort, last year's, we had 29 students who were placed in the 9th grade.
Oh.
And so we had an 89% graduation rate last year. You know, it is a challenge to reach those students in the regular classroom. So, well, you know, one of the questions the board asked was, what can we do about these 9th graders? To give you an example, right now, I've got 20 juniors who, if they keep on the way they're going, will not have the credits to graduate next year. So we are looking at not just 9th graders, but we're looking at also trying to serve those students who are already with us, who are behind, lacking the skills. And in addition to that, the students that we already serve in our alternative school setting, which would be our zero tolerance students. We put them there rather than kicking them to the curb for a calendar year. So we've got 3 groups there that we're trying to serve. What we're in the process of doing right now, we're focusing on our current 8th graders. And at the 2 middle schools, they are looking at test scores. They are looking at what we call progress monitoring to see that students who are in intervention programs, they are checked every 2 weeks to see, are they making progress? Are they meeting the benchmarks they need to be meeting? Are they going to be ready to perform at a high school level? If they're not, our hope will be that in this other setting, in this transitional school setting, we can take those 9th graders, and if they are lacking in reading and language arts skills, we have reading interventions that we can use to help get them up to speed. We're using a program right now at the high school called Linda Mood Bell. We have seen some wonderful, wonderful results with that program with our struggling readers. We want to make that available to students in this program. We've got students who are behind in math, and we want to be able to work with them on those basic math skills, because if you can't do multiplication, you can't do fractions. If you can't do fractions, you can't do algebra.
Okay, I'm not sure we've identified the fact that that what you're in the process of hoping you can do is to establish what you're calling an academy, which will be a separate location, collection, and gather these students. Apparently you've got 3 sources now, but you're going to gather them in a special place and for, I guess, more individualized instruction.
Definitely more individualized instruction. The vision is 4 classrooms potentially either 2 for our 9th graders, depending on our numbers, or 2 for our at-risk upperclassmen, and 1 for our alternative classes. But it would end up being 4 classrooms right now with the numbers we're projecting at this point. We still don't have hard numbers on this yet, but 4 classrooms. Each classroom would have a facilitator. That facilitator is going to be a teacher who has an endorsement in at least one area. We also want to have 3 what we're calling floaters. Those people would include a math teacher, a special education teacher, possibly a career technical education teacher, who can float through those rooms, help those students when they're having, when they're stuck on something, when they're having trouble with a particular subject. The program that we'll be using, it'll be a personalized program. We use a computer program called Edgenuity, and we would customize that program for the needs of each of those students. Edgenuity. Edgenuity. Yeah, it took me a long time to learn. We kept joking called edumacation, right. But Edgenuity took a while to learn how to say it. But it's one that we've been using at the high school, and they're using it on the middle schools, in the middle schools right now too. And it's a good program. It has good, solid instruction in it. They're not just sitting in front of a computer clicking buttons, but we feel like if we've got that personnel in there with them to provide that support, to help shore up those skills that they don't have, because we'd have some pull-out programs like the Linda Mood Bell, and give them an opportunity to improve those skills to the point where we can transition them back into the high school as sophomores if they feel they're going to be successful in that environment. So,
and you're talking about a separate facility somewhere to gather this.
What we have identified, we believe that there is space in the community services building of the Old West Middle School. Right. We believe there's enough space in there that we can repurpose to accommodate what we're trying to accomplish. And I do want to throw in there that it's I don't want anybody to think that what we want to do is just take kids over there and stick them in a room and put them in front of a computer all day. We want to have a counselor over there with them, because a lot of the times the problem, the challenges that these kids have, it's not just academic. It's socioeconomic, it's social and emotional. We want a counselor over there with them. We have 2 outstanding social workers in our school system now. We want to be able to get them over into that building part of the time so they can work with some of these kids, providing some support services. We are going to be relying very heavily on people in the community who want to partner with us and come in and help us offer some of these services for kids. And we want a service learning component in this. We want to see these kids down there helping load backpacks for 5 Loaves for Kids. We want to see them walking down to the food pantry at the First Christian Church.
A community service function.
Yes, stocking a food pantry, sorting clothes at Good Samaritan. We want to get them connected to the community at the same time while they learn some good job skills. That's where our CTE person is going to come in, our career technical education person. They can work with them.
CTE?
CTE, career technical education.
Technical, okay.
We want that person to work with them on job skills in the facility. We want them to make contacts in the community where we can go out and let these kids do some apprenticing. Let them see what a workplace looks like. Show them something different. We want this to be a life-changing experience for these kids.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we need to take another commercial break, folks, and we'll be right back.
Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has proudly served your auto rental for over 30 years. Check out this huge selection to choose from. Small car, mid-size car, full-size car, crossover vehicle, SUV, minivan, pickup trucks, 12 and 15 passenger vans. Whether big or small, Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has them all. Stop by our 2 locations to serve you, Tullahoma and in Winchester. And remember, my question is, why rent? anywhere else.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
It's your trademark. That's something special everyone knows and remembers. It's your thing. It's made holidays special for decades and summers unforgettable for the entire neighborhood. It's made everyone laugh every single time. Don't let illness or injury keep you from doing your thing. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
I'm meteorologist Leland Statham from the News Channel 5 Weather Center. Look to Jim Fuller and crew for local news night here on Channel 6.
We're back, folks, talking today with Kathy Rose, who is principal of Tullahoma High, and we're talking about the plans that she's got well advanced to establish a separate academy to take the kids coming out of middle school who are not prepared to get them ready to go into high school. And there's a special program she has in mind, and we want to find out what that is. So the question now is what to do about these kids. So you lead us into what you read into and what your planning is.
Well, I want to stress first of all that this is not just my plan. There were a lot of people who came to the table for this, and I'm just the mouthpiece at this point. But actually, back last fall, during a work session with the school board, the issue came up because I pointed out to them that last summer we had 82 credits recovered in summer school. And of those 82 credits that were recovered, 51 of them were freshman credits. So we had freshmen who had failed 2, 3, even 4 classes during the regular school year. So we knew that was an issue that needed to be addressed. And the idea came up of, is this something that we might be able to do through our alternative school? In talking about it, the current model that we have for our alternative school would not really be effective for that, because we're talking about students, many of whom were lacking in background skills. Not necessarily discipline problems. Kids sometimes they fly under the radar,
academic
but
and social problems.
They've got issues. It might be issues at home, health issues, whatever. But for some reason, they just weren't getting where they needed to be, and so for the remainder of their high school career, they're either dancing double time to try to catch up, or they throw up their hands and quit, and at that point they do become a discipline problem. So we talked about what are some of the things we could do. Is there a possibility we could go in with other school districts? And Susan Fanning, our Director of Instruction, even facilitated a meeting for us. We had people from Coffee County, Moore County, Bedford County came in and talked about, we shared, what do you do in your alternative school setting right now? And we got some good ideas, and there's some good things going on, but nothing really worked. Nothing was really the model that would address what we needed to be addressed. So after Christmas, Ms. Fanning called and she said, I want to take a group down to Bradley County to take a look at their Goal Academy. Well, I'd been hearing about their Goal Academy for over a year because Al Morris, who's our wrestling coach, is old Bradley County boy. And so he had been talking about, they've really got a really good school down at Bradley County you ought to take a look at. So Dr. Mick Sharan, principal of West, Dr. Charles Lawson, principal of East, myself, and Susan Fanning spent a day at the Goal Academy. And the way that Goal Academy is set up, it actually has 2 sides. It has the AL side, which is the alternative learning side. This is where your zero tolerance kids go. and the go side, which was really a fast-track high school. Kids came in, they got their 22 credits for graduation, they were required to work during that time. All the rules that are set up there are rules that you would find in a workplace. For example, when you go in the morning, you have to do a certain amount of work before you get your chair to sit in. Because in the world of work, if you don't want to work on the factory line anymore and you want a job with a chair, sometimes there's more work required of you to be able to earn that seat rather than stand on the line. So that's their philosophy on that. There's a dress code for them, because when you go to work, your employer is going to require you to dress a certain way. So, and the rules are very stringently enforced there. They have a number of the same personnel there that we would like to see in our program. They have an administrator, they have a counselor, they have a CTE person, they have the facilitators, they have the floaters, they have the educational assistants there. We were really excited about what we saw and felt like there were some components of that we could duplicate. So we sent another group down several weeks later, and this group consisted of a couple of our assistant principals at the high school. We had put the word out what we were trying to do and asked teachers if, the way I put it, if you've got a missionary spirit and you're looking for a job that can be life-changing for yourself and for kids, this could be your place. So we took several teachers down. They spent the day. Some came back, yeah, I want in on this. Others came back and said, that's great. I don't see myself in that environment. And to me, that's money well spent. I want you to go and find out, do you think this is something that you want to do? So the right personnel is critical to making this work. It's got to be. So we've sent 3 groups down so far. We're sending another group down in a couple of weeks. It's going to include some of our special education staff, our social workers. We want them to see what types of services are offered down there and see what we can duplicate here, see what they've had success with, see if we can duplicate that success. So we're moving forward. My bowl of Jell-O is about half gelled at this point, and we're looking at identifying personnel. 2 middle schools are working on identifying potential freshmen for this, potential clients that we could serve in this setting. So now we're working on trying to get the people together that we feel could make this happen. And the teachers we're talking to, we're telling them this isn't a one and done. We're looking for somebody who's going to make a 3 to 5 year commitment of this, because this cannot be a place where we've got a lot of turnover. Most of these kids have enough turmoil in their lives. School needs to be their stability. They need to know who's going to be in that building when they come in every day. That needs to be the place that they can rely on. So we want to make sure we've got a staff over there that provides that foundation for them. I get very excited about this.
Yeah. Well, I think it's worth emphasizing that your goal in all of this is what? When they get through not just this program, but transitioning into high school, you're talking about basically about being prepared to go out in the world and work fruitfully.
Yes, fruitfully, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the impact on that is, talk a little bit about that. The impact you're talking about, life-changing for the kids. As things stand now, if they are not able to graduate, they're not going to be able to find a decent job.
80% of the population in prisons right now, according to the Huffington Post, 80% of the population in America's prisons are high school dropouts.
Prisons including jails, the local jail.
Yes, including the local jail, which I understand is pretty full right now.
Yeah.
And it has not been there that long. So we're talking about a financial commitment to try to improve the productivity of a citizen for the rest of their life, where they can be a contributing member.
Yeah.
And please don't hear this as, every child who drops out is going to end up in jail. That's certainly not the case. I mean,
Yeah.
my father had a 4th grade education, never did a day in jail in his life. But it definitely improves your chances of getting to the next step if you've got that high school
And
diploma.
you're talking about lifelong earnings,
lifelong,
really.
yes,
It's
lifelong,
very much a
lifelong.
commitment.
I'm not talking about just a graduation rate. I mean, that's a nice thing to have, but I'm talking about changing people's lives where my father always told me, if you've got an education, you've got some control over your future. If you don't have an education, you won't have control.
Okay.
Somebody else will control you.
With that, folks, we're going to have to quit. We've run out of time, as somehow we always do. So we'll take a short break and be right back.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck. Chevy, Ford, and Ram, man. Russell's got your truck. With the best selection anywhere. Russell's got your truck.
Keith Barnett here at the Russell Barnett Automotive family, and man, do we ever have your truck. 4 brands, hundreds to choose from, all at year-end discounted prices. So with so much to choose from, my question is, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
Russell's got your truck, man.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
We're back, folks. We've been talking today with Kathy Rose, who is principal at Tullahoma High and who is doing some serious work to try to get what she calls an academy, special academy, going this fall for students who are falling behind, who are in danger of not being able to qualify for life. So, Kathy, give us your goal.
Well, my goal would be to see every student at Tullahoma High School earn a diploma. And I stress that, earn a diploma. We're not going to just hand them one. The goal right now, the immediate goal, is to have this up and running by the next school year. Again, we're in the process of this fall.
August or September, whenever the start is?
Yeah, August. Yeah, school starts in August now, yeah. But we want to be up and running by that time, fully staffed with a student population that we feel we can serve. We feel that in the very, very near future, we're going to be ready to go to the board with when they ask, we're going to be able to go to the board with a firmed up plan for this. And at that point, it will be in the hands of the school board to determine if
when are you hoping
they
to
can
go to the
fund it.
board?
I'm sorry?
When are you hoping to go to the board?
I'm ready to go whenever they invite me to come back.
Okay. Well, with that, folks, we have run out of time. So, Kathy, I want to thank you very much for coming. This is a very important subject, and it means a lot to the youth out there and their future. So, thanks so much for joining us, and we thank you folks for inviting us into your parlor, and we'll see you next time.